everybody, and welcome in to Blue Jays today, where for today, everybody, we are going to be talking about some of the latest updates involving Vladimir Guerrero Jr.'s contract. I thought that we were done with this for a little while. I thought that we'd at least be able to make it through spring training without having to talk about this, because obviously once you get into the season, it's going to be trade here, rumor there, whatever. No, we couldn't, everybody. We couldn't. Vladdy came out, spoke about effectively what he was looking for from the Toronto Blue Jays, cleared some things up, also created some more questions, and just in general, I think a lot of Blue Jays fans are kind of wondering, where are we at now? So we're going to break into all of that, as well as talking about some of the latest spring training updates. Let me tell you, folks, our offense kind of bangs, dude. David Hopkins might be the guy. We might be on a World Series run, question mark. Maybe not, because this team's fucking looking great right now. We got to talk about that and just a bunch more in this one. Welcome in, everyone.
Yeah, welcome in, everybody. G Low, big hog hockey, saying streaming during the NHL trade deadline is crazy. Listen, I don't watch hockey. I mean, if you want to go follow other streams of watching hockey, go for it.
Let us know, Big Hog Hockey, who is going to be moving today, folks. And also, too, if you are going to be looking at some other streams, go check out Hot Take Hockey. I'm sure that he is live right now. And then also, to our friends over at the Nation Network, I would anticipate that they got a big-time live stream going on right now over there.
Zioa, Ryan, Dan, welcome in, everybody, to the stream. Daniela Castro, welcome in. Yeah, so I want to circle back to the whole Vladdy thing. I just think, before we even break into like what exactly he said, I just think it's hilarious how every time this comes up, this comment he makes about like, oh, I wanted to set a deadline so that I don't have any more distractions or noise with my team. Yet every other week, it feels like he's in an interview and people are asking about his contract. Like, if you truly didn't want it to be a distraction, you just be like, hey guys, I'm not talking about this right now. You know what I mean? Rather than kind of revealing more information and then making it more of a distraction.
No, well, listen, man. It was always going to be this way. There's just no way around it, right? Like, when you don't have the contract already inked, the questions are going to be there. Even if he came out and said, and, to his defense, even if he came out and said, yeah, I don't want to talk about this, they're still going to ask him every single time, and he's gonna have to say that every single time.
And part of that, like, he was being interviewed by MLB Network Radio, and like part of it was like he said, "Oh, I don't want my teammates being asked any questions. I don't want like anybody else getting distracted by my stuff." And it's like, but the thing is, like, it's going to happen. It all depends on how you handle and what information you really put out there. Because if he keeps feeding out information, then I feel like the media is going to chew that up, like we're doing right now,
right,
and ask more questions. Right?
Totally, dude. But and I also think that the stuff that he kind of fed to us, I understand why he did it. After the Toronto Blue Jays didn't eventually extend Guerrero, there were some reports that came out from Jeff Passan saying that Vladdy, he was asking for a lot of money. Emphasized a lot of money. And I think that right around then, you saw like a lot of the fan base and a lot of the narrative switch and be like, oh, like, Vladdy's just being greedy. Vladdy's asking too much. So I would imagine that probably Guerrero's like, wanting to come out and be like, hey guys, like,
no, it's not that much.
It's not that much. But in doing so, it might actually have, done the opposite and made people think that, no, you were asking too much. Let's get straight to the quote right here, everybody. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. came out and said this. It's much less than Soto. We're talking about many fewer millions than Soto, more than 100 million less. It was the same number of years, and just to clarify, Soto signed for 15 years, so I assume Vladdy was looking for a 15-year contract, which would take him to be age 41. Quick math right there. But it didn't reach $600 million. The last number we gave them as a counteroffer didn't reach 600. So it's under 600, but it is 15 years. He like, and again, let's do some detective work right now. Clearly it was above 500. Yeah. Because if
you would have said it was under 500.
Exactly.
Also, if it was under 500, I think the deal's done.
Right.
Let's be realistic.
So clearly it was between 500 and 600 million dollars. And a lot of people are speculating on what David Ortiz had to say a little while ago, where he came out and he was like, hey, I think it's around 585 for Vlad.
For 15 years. Yeah. And honestly, like, David Ortiz has been very connected to the community, and I wouldn't be surprised if that was the number that he heard, and he kind of just floated it out there. So with that being said, I think, now that we kind of have a closer kind of target range of where Vladdy's asking for, which is between like the 550 and the $600 million,
yeah.
right? Like if that's it, then I completely understand the Blue Jays not going and giving him an extension. That type of money is only deserving if Vladdy goes out and repeats what he did last year, or like kind of repeats his career average, maybe a little bit better. I think that is what that contract would look like.
Yeah, Jen coming in here and saying, shout out to Jen Smith, by the way. If you don't already, go follow her on X right there. But she says the Ortiz number is pretty close, if not the actual number. I just did the math. So 585 divided by 15, $39 million flat. That feels like something that, the agency would come to terms with. His camp would come to terms with and be like, all right, we can offer this feeling good about it. And when it is that high, yeah, to your point, man, I mean, that is a shitload amount of money for, one, a first baseman, and two, somebody who's been very, very good, but has also had his ups and his downs in the career so far.
And you know what, like, if you really think about it, $39 million per year, what's Soto getting? $60 million average annual value? A little bit more than that? Like, let's do the math. But if you really think about it, $39 million per year, like, yeah, it's a lot of money, but that's kind of the going rate. $51 million per year.
Soto.
But $39 million, I think Judge is like $40 million per year. He's a bit older, too.
Right.
I think $39 million, yeah, like, sure, the total number of, almost being $600 million does scare a lot of people, but if you really think about it, $39 million per year. Like, if you think about the Blue Jays payroll too, that's not actually going to eat a large chunk of it. We're considered one of the highest paying payrolls in all of baseball now. We're comfortable going over the luxury tax any given year, over $240 million, $250 million, $39 million per year. Like, let's be honest, guys. Like, that's pretty good for a guy who you're going to get in his prime and get a franchise cornerstone.
Yeah, yes, and then also, as Jays Talk puts it right here, $39 million until he's 41.
That's
right?
what
and
you got to pay for. You know what I mean?
Well, and they don't want to, right? And honestly, like for me, I don't think. I'll be honest. I'm kind of shocked that you're just throwing around $39 million like it's nothing. I think $39 million is a lot of money.
Do you want Vladimir Guerrero Jr. or not? Because someone will pay him $39 or $40 million per year.
And that's
the going rate.
Well, and honestly, that is clearly what he's banking on and what he's thinking. I think that should he put up another year that he put up, last year, or even better, then okay, yeah.
Right.
But also too, I mean, like if he doesn't, then no, you're not getting $39 million.
No, then you kind of go down. But that's the thing, right? Like the Blue Jays, I guess, with their calculations, assume like let's take a chance here because there has been only 2 seasons of Vladimir Guerrero Jr. where you're like, give me $39 million for that type of year. So they're gonna wait the year out, right? And if he repeats this exact season, then I hope, as a Blue Jays fan, that if the asking price is still 39, probably will go up at that point because he went out and proved it. Are you willing to go and pay that kind of money? And you got to ask yourself that.
For me, I personally think that, again, if the contract was $585, 15 years, then I personally think that's what I'd be totally okay with giving you after you do it in back-to-back seasons.
After you do it again.
And he's asking for it for before. And, for me, like, I'm honestly kind of siding with, again, if that's the number, like we're kind of speculating right now. I do think that's pretty close to it.
Yeah.
I'm kind of siding with the Jays here in the sense that, like, I don't think you're worth that much. Now, Jen did come in here right now.
Yeah.
Jen did come in here and said that the Jays offered over 500. Don't know the exact number. If you could let us know where you got that from, Jen, we'd really appreciate it. But again, if that's the case for me, like, I think that $500 million, if that's actually where they got to, is an extremely reasonable, totally fair. We're talking about a bad defensive first baseman right here that doesn't have the greatest legs underneath him and that has had an up and down career.
No, I agree. And you know what? And I honestly, Vlad's in a position right now where he's betting on himself. Let's be honest. Like, this is what it is. He's saying, I'm betting that I will put up that year again, and that's how much money I think I'm going to make if I put up that year and go to free agency. So you can buy me out right now. We don't have to go through the ups and downs. If you want to, like, secure me right now, I will take the money that I think that my upside is worth.
That's the thing. Like, I guess for me, and I get where the Jays are coming from by not doing it, because exactly. It's like he's not giving you any discount to mitigate his risk.
Right.
And that is for me where the disconnect is. It's like, okay, yes, if you go out and you go crazy mode and all right, fine, $39 million a year. Now that you've done it back-to-back seasons, you're in your prime, whatever. But I guess like Guerrero is treating this like this is his free agency. And from the Jays, they're like, hey, wait a second, we still have you under contract for a whole nother year. You know, like you don't know what's going to happen, this coming season. You don't know how things are going to go.
Granted, flip side of things, you don't know if you're going to get retained Vladdy. So that's the risk,
and,
right?
Of course, right? And I think that they've just come to, they've come to the realization that, 500 or whatever it was that they peaked at is as far as they're going to go right now. And honestly, like, I don't even blame them for that.
No, I don't either, right? If you wanted to lock down Vladdy, then you have to smash the upside. But I can see multiple realities where this guy kind of plays a career average, and it's like, okay, maybe the price goes down. Or what if he gets hurt? Or what if he, does way below average of what he's done for his career, and then the price is way much lower? Maybe the whole contract is looking completely different. Like maybe it's structured more in where it's a little bit front loaded and there's some opt-outs and, opens up some more doors that might be more team friendly. Whereas let's just pay the upside right away. But if you and let's be honest, Rogers' communication in this front office sticks to their evaluations, and they're saying, well, this upside happens X amount of times, percentage of time, and it's less likely than all these other outcomes that are going to happen. So am I willing just to give you that higher outcome that is less likely? Probably not right now.
Right. And I actually just thought about this too, right? If you save the money, you don't pay Vlad the $585 right now, or whatever it is that he's asking. A lot of people have just been, and us as well, have just kind of been saying that Bichette this year is gone. Like he's as good as gone, everything like that. Let's just say that Bichette comes out and has a great year, which a lot of people are predicting. Many people are saying that he is going to be if he has a great year, a $200 million guy. I mean, if Bichette has a phenomenal year and Vladdy comes back to earth just a little bit, okay, so we could either pay you $600 or this guy $200. Listen, I'm not disagreeing. I'm trying to look at the evaluations about, it's like, okay, like again, if Bichette does well and Guerrero kind of falls down a little bit, is Bichette, or is Guerrero 3 times more valuable than Bo? Probably not.
No,
right?
and I'm laughing because it's every year we go back and forth between these two guys.
Yeah, of course we do. Of course we do.
And I would not be shocked if by the end of the season, Bichette, and based on his spring so far, I got a video coming out tomorrow. If he does really good, then he's going to get lots of money. But I have a video coming out tomorrow talking about how good he's been.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if he does really good this year and Vladdy kind of does the same as Bo, valuations, whatever. Like I'm taking that much.
I'm taking the cheaper guy, the $300 million cheaper option, right? Look, the reason I'm putting all this out there is because you get the extension talks going and you sign somebody to an extension if there is just a little bit of a discount from that person, because you are also like you're helping them too by giving them their money now, and for me. It sounds like Vladdy was really trying to go to the top right there. And I don't know. I agree with what the Jays have done by not doing it. Actually,
I hear you.
I'm surprised I'm making that take.
No, I agree. I agree with honestly both sides on where they're coming from. And I would lean more the Jays because I'm like, you're right. I'm not paying for upside just yet. Shout out to Asia Robertson. Welcome for becoming a starter member. Welcome to the community, guys. W's in chat for Asia. Also realize because we have a new setup, there's like a whole new subscribe button. I'll have to fix that later. But boys got new computers, so hopefully no more tech issues. So that's our conversation on Vladimir Guerrero Jr. You guys let us know in the comments.
I don't think we're quite done yet.
Oh, you have someone else?
Well, because I know that we were going to transition. We were going to talk about should he hit free agency.
Right.
What teams may actually be interested in going out and paying that price? Because there was a recent article that came out from it was the New York Mets Sports Illustrated version of the New York Mets. I think they have like a bunch of different ones. But anyways, New York Mets Focus saying that his price might actually outprice them. Can you ever see Steve Cohen getting outpriced?
Yeah, if he's asking for $600 million again, that's 2 guys, one of $765 and another of $600 million. I mean, that's why the Dodgers were barely in on the Juan Soto conversation. It's like, yeah, guys, we're loaded here, so I could believe it. I mean, no one's infinite money. Eventually you're gonna run out of money, and you're gonna have to have yourself a budget. Even though it's a big budget, you're gonna run out. So if he's wanting 600 mil, I think it could.
Yeah, I do wonder, again, like I've brought this up many times, and you guys know I was comparing a lot the Pete Alonso sweepstakes to the Vladimir Guerrero Jr. ones, and then also kind of the Alex Bregman sweepstakes to the Vladimir Guerrero Jr. ones, and how both of those guys, didn't really get the money that they were fully looking for. It's going to be interesting to see if he has another good year, if anybody is going to be willing to hit that $600 million mark for what is ultimately, a poor defensive playing
I think
first
so.
baseman.
I mean, I'm looking at Juan Soto. He's a kind of outfielders make a little bit more, but
That's
poor defensive outfielder that everyone knew this guy will be a DH in a couple of years. So you're not even getting any defense.
Right.
So it's like, I believe he will. If he has another great year.
If he puts up something crazy. All right, interesting stuff right there, everybody. Obviously, this isn't going to be the end of the Vladimir Guerrero Jr. sweepstakes, talks, rumors, trades, whatever, man. If this is the last year of Guerrero, and he truly was asking for 585 or whatever it was, all right, go out. Prove that you listen. You go out, you hit 40 home runs, and have a OPS of 950. I will be the first one to say, give the guy his money.
Pay that man.
Give him his 585.
Pay this man,
But you got to show me one more time.
Yeah, I mean, he's having a good spring, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But before we do, let's give a quick shout out. Let's give a quick shout out here to the Just on More. Let's go with the donut with our weird new glitchy graphic. Oh my God, you hear that?
It's speaking.
That's
too.
Speaking. That's kind of crazy.
Kind of interesting, actually.
Kind of interesting. Shout out to the Justin Moore, the 279 dono. Let's go. Let's give another shout out here to a sponsor of this episode here, everybody. We got Tim Hortons. They're back. Roll Up to Win is back, everybody. Guys, your favorite contest is back. Roll Up to Win. That means you can win millions of amazing prizes with just a swipe of a thumb, everybody. Imagine turning your routine Tim's run into an unforgettable vacation with sell-off vacations, a 1,000 Rakuten cash prize, or an all-new, all-electric 2025 Volkswagen ID Buzz. Even the simple joy of winning a coffee or donut can make anyone's day, but you only have until March 23rd. I mean, that's literally, 2 weeks away? So get to the Tim's app and start rolling, everybody. This is our game, Canada. So don't let the chance of winning millions of amazing prizes pass you by. Play Roll Up to Win on the Tim's app now. Rules apply. Canada only. No purchase necessary. Visit the Tim app for details. So get rolling, everybody.
Does anybody want anything cool yet? Let us know in the chat. If you want anything cool, I'll be honest, the luck hasn't been there with me.
Not for me yet.
But it's coming. I believe it is coming. I started off this whole thing talking about how good the offense has been, and it has been great. I mean, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. himself has been going insane mode, but he isn't the only one. You got Bichette, who is popping off right now. Ernie Clement is doing great. Guerrero, phenomenal. Stuart Baroa, who would have thunk it?
Who would have thunk?
Miles Straw.
Hello.
I mean, in fact, like you scroll down here, no one is doing bad. There is not a single player on the screen that you can see right now that is doing bad. And I do need to, qualify all of this and say it's spring training. The pitchers that they're up against aren't good. Just like in general, everything's not good.
This is my counter to that conversation because everyone always says that. Here's my counter to that. Then why isn't anybody else third in OPS in the MLB? You know what I mean? If everybody's facing bad pitching and AA pitchers and it's spring training, it doesn't matter, and they're throwing heaters down the middle, why is no one else have an 815 OPS in this spring traiing?
Well,
if we're all on the same playing field. But, a couple of them, the Dodgers, the Brewers, the Cubs, good hitting ball teams in their own rights.
Brewers
the Royals, the Brewers, they're solid still. They got you should look at their lineup.
Think?
Yeah, they got Yelich still. They got Contreras. They got Churio's been awesome. We'll break it down on Bad for Baseball. They got a good lineup. They also got Reese Hoskins too, but still, and they had last year they were the top 5 offense.
Yeah,
they were like a top 5 offense.
Okay, sure,
but
fine.
regardless, why is nobody else? We're all up there, so I don't know, something to note, right?
Yeah, I think. Look, there are some holes in that because if I don't know what your defense would be against the Reds and the Guardians down there.
They're hot. Maybe they made some improvements too. But point being is when everybody says you're just facing AA pitchers. Okay, well everyone is. and we're third.
Yes,
in OPS.
yes,
you know?
we are doing very good against bad pitchers, and everyone is doing very good against bad pitchers. Like again, like there's not a whole lot of people that are slumping right now. You know, is this the David Popkins effect? Probably not. I think it's a mixture of everything at this point. But honestly, you know what? I feel like it would be more of a talking point if you come out, or if you came out, excuse me, and everyone was just, you know, dog water. And that's not the case at all. Like, everybody is looking good, looking healthy, looking like they're on time. This is ultimately where you want to start the season. And if it doesn't mean anything at all, you know, in terms of the stats and everything, it still means just a little bit to their confidence, right?
Yeah.
And that's important as well.
And you know what? You said, like, it's a bit of everything kind of happening right now. I mean, it's clear, like, David Popkins has actually had some impact on the team. He's calling guys at night, talking to these dudes. He's calling Bo Bichette. He's calling Ernie Clement. And, like, these guys are going. And look, the numbers, I'm not so much focused on the numbers, and I wish I had a greater detail and we could go through all the different hard hits that they've been doing. But all their hits are loud. Right. They are loud as holy hell. Everybody. You know, and yesterday was a great example, too. You know, you had Ernie, first at bat. I'm seeking a fastball down the middle. Boom, I get it, over the fence. Same with David Schneider. Boom, over the fence. Everybody's hunting in there. And I've noticed the mentality. It's not let's take pitches on the borderline. No, we're early, we're swinging, and we're hunting. And that's what I've been noticing that's different. Like, the stats are one thing. That's a result of good at-bats and a good approach at the plate. So I would say maybe David Popkins had a little bit of influence in that.
Look, I think it's all of the above, right? It's your off season, it's your motivation, it's the new guy in, it's the hype of what we're hoping to be an all-in season, right? You got to imagine the guys are getting fueled right now. They know what this means, and so far they are doing very, very well.
They are. And another guy that's doing really well, and again, like I alluded to, I'm going to have a video breaking him down tomorrow, but Bo Bichette, you know, there's talks about him maybe leading off, or there's some people throughout, maybe Jimenez, maybe Alan Rodin. Bo Bichette, was actually being asked about the idea of batting leadoff, and it appears that Bo Bichette, according to Ben Nicholson-Smith, is pretty open to the idea, and it does excite him. I've spent some time there, and I've always enjoyed my time there as a challenge to kind of set the tone for the team, and I like challenges, so hopefully I get that opportunity. And, you know, to kind of allude to what I'm going to talk about tomorrow is you need a guy at the top of the lineup to be a threat, and we've kind of been missing that threat for the last couple of seasons, you know, with George Springer kind of falling off, right? Like, he doesn't oppose that threat. If you can get out the gate early and score a run in the first inning with your best three hitters, if you go Bo Bichette, Vladdy, or Santander, or whatever it might be, if you put your best three hitters on top of that lineup, put a run on the board in the first inning, your chance of winning, just looked it up before this podcast, rises to 70%. Right. That's massive. Yeah. And that would help the Blue Jays win a lot more ball games this year.
Yeah, exactly, dude. I mean, I just don't think there's any other option than Bo Bichette, right? Like, I know that we're seeing the spring training number stats, and everyone's like, oh, like, everyone's good, like, whatever. No, like,
bat Stuart Brew at leadoff.
Yeah, like, once we get into the season, things are gonna change. They're all gonna fall back to earth here. I've always been of the opinion that Bo Bichette is the leadoff guy now. Now that George Springer is falling off, and you just don't really have anybody that's got those characteristics. I mean, potentially if Andres Jimenez wanted to be 2022 Andres Jimenez, and, you know, should we find ourselves in June and he is doing that, all right, be my guest. You throw him number one, and then Bo Bichette can be behind him, and then Vladdy behind him, and that will be the top three, and I will love it. But for right now, you know, not having that, I do think it's Bo, I think it's Vlad, and then it's Santander, and then everybody else is going to fall into place, you know, depending on how they're performing.
Yeah, I mean, it's very simple for me. Put the best guys at the top of the lineup, do damage as much as possible, and that's it. And, like, honestly, Jimenez, I would love it because he can run a little bit, but he's got to be batting upper 200s, close to 300 like he did in 2022.
Yeah, you got to be getting on base, right?
He can't be doing anything less than that, honestly, because there's Bo Bichette who's going to be doing that. So you got to have him. Up. Do better if you want to have him up there. Now I see you looking up some stats. Anyone you want to talk about before we move on?
I'm already just thinking about what our next segment is going to be, and already getting my thoughts together right now. We're gonna do a segment very soon, everybody, where we're gonna, like, be breaking down exactly, like, the tier list of who we think is or is not going to make the team. It's because you brought up Stuart Burrow. And
right.
Well,
Yeah,
maybe he's playing pretty good.
Right.
Could he make it?
All right, well, why don't we transition that segment right now, everybody, and also give a big shout out to the new sponsor of Blue Jays today, Amsterdam Brew House, everybody. Shout the heck out to the new sponsors. That's where we got the 3-speed over here, the Amsterdam Blonde over here. We got a little bit of event that we got to talk about too, but before we do, let's give a little bit of shout out to them. Let's give
everybody.
some love.
The segment where we're going to be ranking everybody is brought to you by Amsterdam Brew House. Short 5-minute walk from the Rogers Center where the best Jays fans tailgate for pre- and post-game beers and food. They say that because we are going to be doing that, and we are the best Jays fans. You guys included, best Jays community. So, I mean, this is accurate.
This is it.
If you don't have tickets, there are tons of big screen TVs to catch the game. Damn good craft beer, locally brewed in Toronto, and on-site brewery as well. Check out the latest from Brewmasters at Amsterdam with their always rotating adventure brews. So it's right there, 5 minutes away from the Rogers Center, 245 Queens Quay West. And honestly, you know what, with everything that's happening right now, Canada, America, all that stuff, you know, American booze flying off the LCBO shelves, never has it been more of an important time, I think, to, you know, be supporting some of your local Canadian places, right? If you're going to drink beer, this is a great spot. It's right by the Toronto Blue Jays. It is honestly awesome. Like, we have these guys. I've drank quite a few Amsterdam brews, you know, on the golf course at right before a Jays game, everything like that.
Seriously, like, no cap. My go-to beer, if I want to, like, is to get that Amsterdam Blonde right there, because 3 of those equals 6 beers, like just regular sized beers. So I'll just get 3 of those and go on the golf course and be like, I only drank 3 beers.
Yeah,
you know,
it's no big deal. But speaking of Amsterdam and how it's such a great place to pre and to have a post game and everything like that, folks, March 27th, that is opening day. It is a Thursday. The Blue Jays Today boys are going to be there. We're going to be hosting a huge event at the Amsterdam Brew House, right there next to the Rogers Center. 5-minute walk away from the Rogers Center. So even if you have tickets to the game, you can come, you can pre with us. We're probably going to be getting there like 2-3 hours beforehand. We're still going to work out a couple of the details, but this is your chance right now to play hooky. Call your boss. Tell them that you're going to be ill because you got somewhere better to be. Amsterdam Brew House. Opening day, March 27th. We want to see you guys there.
Let's go, everybody. It should be a lot of fun. And if you aren't going to the game, you could stay and, you know what, we do our live play-by-play. So we're going to be sitting there doing the live play-by-play so you can kind of get a little behind-the-scenes action. And then, who knows? It might be a fun night.
Maybe
following.
do a little 9x9 challenge with Amsterdam beers.
Just a 9x9.
Just no hot dogs. Don't need any goddamn hot dogs. But lock it in, everybody. March 27th. We want to see all you guys at the Amsterdam Brew House. This is the big one. Let's get over to the tier maker right now, folks. Now, what we want to do here, because there's been a big debate as to who is going to make the roster, who is not going to make the roster. You know, obviously Vladdy and Santander and blah, blah, blah. But there's the bench. And the bench right now is very much up for grabs. We got all of here, kind of the fringe guys. And we're going to be putting them in some tiers as to what we think is, or what their future is going to hold. Are they going to make the team? Is it kind of a flip of the coin? Or if it's, you know, quite literally never going to happen. So let's start off with Addison Barger, one of the top prospects for the Toronto Blue Jays. Was on the team a little bit last year. Didn't start with the squad. Did he finish with the squad?
I think he did
finish with the squad, but he was up and down so many times. It's hard to keep track. Of exactly what it was that was going on with him. He's got potential. He just hasn't really shown it that much yet.
And I mean, if you are looking and taking any weight here to spring training, he actually is one of the guys that is a little bit struggling right now. Actually, I don't even know. There he is.
He's not doing well.
He's got 2 hits and 12 at-bats right now, none going for extra base hits. He's got 6 strikeouts. And right now, if you look at the, I actually don't have it up here, but if you look at the Fangraphs chart, they don't even have him projected to make the team. For me, I feel like the best thing for him is to start in spring training, but I mean, I think I'm kind of leaning, and we'll kind of like go in between where we're thinking. I think it's unlikely he makes the team out of camp just because you got a lot more spots that are going to be needed right there.
Just to flash over the 40-man roster, I'm pretty confident that I'm with you as well. I just want to take a look at all those infielders that he's going to be competing with.
Yeah.
There's a lot. There's a lot.
This is your starting infield right here. You know, you also got David Schneider who can play a little bit of infield. Leo Jimenez, who's been looking good. Will Wagner.
Yeah, it feels like, I don't know necessarily about Elvis Martinez, but it feels like in the past they have prioritized Leo Jimenez, and I assume Will Wagner will also be prioritized over Addison Barger. So yeah, I'm good to put him in the unlikely.
Not
probably
impossible.
going to, I mean, who knows? Maybe they do something wild there, but probably not going to be starting with the squad.
And you guys let us know in the chat too. I see some people saying unlikely. We agree. Do let us know in the chat where you guys would put these dudes. So next up is Stuart Baroa, who we just mentioned right there, having an amazing spring. But where does Stuart Baroa fit with this squad right now? He's an outfielder. Now, people have kind of talked about how his outfield defense is kind of shaky. You know, with a Dalton Varsho on the bench, I don't know. For me, I feel like there's a lot of other guys that probably will make that outfield bench spot over him, like Loper Fido, even Nathan Lucas, even Miles Straw. I could see them going over Stuart Baroa. For me, I'm between unlikely and never gonna make it.
Because typically, like, what are we thinking? They're gonna have what, 4 outfielders?
Yeah, 4 outfielders, maybe a utility
making
guy.
The team. So I mean, already, I mean, like the 3 that are immediately locked in is Santander, Springer, and Varsho. So you got 3 that's locked in, and then you're effectively fighting over 1 spot, and then maybe a utility spot. I don't see that happening, man. I don't think he's never going to make it. Like
out of spring training.
I would go so far to almost put him in
put
never
him there.
making
Like,
it.
he's having an awesome spring. I love him, but probably never going to make it, honestly. All right, then we got Bethencourt. He wasn't even on the 40-man roster. He's been having a bad spring. We've barely seen any of Bethencourt.
We might need to move Baroa up there because there is quite a few people saying 50-50. I disagree.
I'll go
we can put him in unlikely. We'll meet you in the middle on unlikely.
We'll go unlikely.
It feels like...
You know what? It is unlikely.
It's very unlikely.
Like, maybe a couple of injuries are like, okay, maybe he's hot. Let's burn an option here. I don't know. Maybe. We'll see. But Bethencourt right now it's between him and Heineman for that catching job.
Bethencourt's not making it.
Like, it feels like everybody's talking about how, like, even Heineman doesn't even have a secure job yet right now. I know, like, dude, like, the Buck Martinez and everyone's there like, oh, there's still a competition for that second job out of camp. But I still think it's very unlikely.
Yeah, you know what? Okay, if Buck and those guys are arguing about it, then I can be putting him in unlikely. But I would also go so far to say that he is never going to make it. I just think that, like, unless he came out in spring training looking like, straight up, fucking Barry Bonds out there, ultimately the experience that Heineman has with this pitching staff, that's going to weigh out. I mean, like, let's face it, John Schneider knows what Heineman is going to give. And he doesn't know what this guy's going to give just yet. Now, maybe, a month from now, if he's doing really good in the minors and, Heineman's not doing so good, then they make that swap. But I just think that it's too short of a time for him to learn everybody.
All right,
all that
I'm
shit.
down on that. Everyone's saying never, so let's do never gonna make it. Jake Bloss. Now, I actually don't think he's gonna make it. I mean, you're looking at the depth right now with the long relievers and even starting pitching. Right now, everybody's healthy, and Jake Bloss has not been looking good right now for out of camp. Like, not all. He's got a lot of stuff to work on. I'm gonna right now put him. He's never gonna make it out of camp right now. Unless there's a dramatic amount of injuries, but you can say that with anybody. I'm gonna go
because, like, what would his okay, let's ask the question then: would there ever be any reality where they just take him and he's a bullpen arm of some kind?
Probably not, because they probably want to lengthen him and like keep him as an option down the line as depth. So I'd probably say never gonna make it. He's starting pitcher 1 on Buffalo.
Yeah, I think I can get behind that, man. Like, maybe if Yariel wasn't there, I'd be like, oh.
Yeah, Yariel's struggling. And I actually didn't put him on this list because
I'm pretty sure he's going to make it. Yeah, I mean, I do think so. Yeah. But, yeah, probably not for Jake Bloss. Who's next?
Ryan Burr. And honestly, I haven't even heard much out of Ryan Burr so far this camp.
Ryan Burr.
I think he's never going to make it just because... I mean, we actually addressed a lot of the bullpen depth, and I think he's starting out there in AAA to begin the year.
Ryan
now, how many
Burr.
options does he have is honestly another question. Let me actually flash it back here. Let me get our guys right now out of that pen. Who got options? Ryan Burr. He's a bullpen arm. He's out of options. So,
dude, am I tripping? I can't even has he even pitched?
I don't even know if he's pitched.
I don't even see him here have like any type of statistic of any kind.
We got unlikely, barring injuries, forget it. Okay, never gonna make it. There you go. Ryan Burr's never gonna make it, everybody. Let's do Jonathan Clase. Interesting. Came out for 7 games last year. Was pretty good in that time, but lots of competition. In my opinion, I think never gonna make it because, again, there's lots of guys in front of him that are probably gonna get the start day one over him.
Let's, you know what, for the sake of the fact that he's still young and he did play last year and all that, I think it's an unlikely thing. Like, I don't know if we can put him never.
Like out of camp?
Out of camp, yeah.
Okay. I mean, I don't see a reality where he's going to make it out of camp.
Well, here's the thing. I don't really see a reality where Barzer's making it out of camp or Baroa, but, you know, I don't know.
I do see a reality.
With Baroa?
Potentially. Like, I mean, if he's this friggin' hot, you know what I mean?
Right. I don't know, chat. What do you think? Unlikely, but who cares?
All right, we'll throw him in unlikely. But like, yeah, very hard reality seeing him making camp. Now, Tyler Heineman, we might get finally someone who can make this effing team.
Yes.
Tyler Heineman, I think either good chance or a lock that he's the number 2.
Yeah, I mean, like, let's face it. If we're saying that Bethencourt is never going to make it, then Tyler Heineman is a lock to make it. Like, that's kind of where we're at. Now, I know that there is
out of spring training.
Training. Now, I know that there is, you know, some type of debate about that. So I guess maybe somebody could make an argument about a good chance. But I don't know, man. Like, I'm pretty confident Heineman is going to be the guy over Bethencourt at this time.
Okay, we got 3 people saying good chance, 1 person saying lock. I mean, I think it's a good chance. The only reason I'm saying good chance and not a lock is like just because of the idea that like there could be somebody else that they want to burn.
Put him in good chance.
Good chance.
Then I think we got to move Bethencourt up to unlikely.
Yeah,
because they're quite literally tied with one another. Right?
Exactly. That's where I'm kind of thinking. And now we've got Loper Fido. Okay, Loper Fido. He could potentially be the 4th outfielder on this team. I'm between good chance and a lock. I don't. Here's the thing about the bench. Not many guys are a lock on this team. I think it's up there for debate. I think with the playing time he got last year, the camaraderie of the team, there could be a good chance that he makes it. Someone's saying 50-50, leaning to good chance.
I'm thinking like 50-50 good chance.
Okay.
Honestly.
Someone's going lock. Jeez, we're all over the place right here. Someone says unlikely. Wow.
Okay,
we'll land in 50-50 right in the middle.
Yeah, like the reason that I'm thinking 50-50 is because like, and we haven't got to them yet, but my brain keeps coming back to Miles Straw, who you know was like again like we training for that guy, and he is a major leaguer, been a major leaguer before for a long time, and then also Alan Roden and just like how good he's like. That's where my brain is going, and that's why I'm like.
Yeah, like for me, the 50 of the making the team side of things is, well, we don't want to wait for Alan Roden, and maybe we don't want to have Miles Straw, and like we want to see what else you got, kid. And the other 50 is like, well, we have to put Alan Roden on this effing team.
Alan Roden's too good.
We have to get Miles Straw.
Yeah, exactly. Like Miles Straw is like he's like you want to talk about like a safe pick. It's like, well, this guy's been in MLB for years.
And if Varsho's not 100% ready to play center field, then he can play Gold Glove defense.
Yeah, he's great defense.
Like that's all you're asking for, really. So
in fact, I'm kind of talking myself into why it's going to be Miles Straw.
I think Miles Straw is going to make the team. We're going to get to him. We're going to get to him. Easton Lucas, is he going to make the team, everybody?
What is he doing this spring?
Barely know. He's just a depth guy. I don't think he's going to make it. He's not. I don't think he's even had a shot.
Yeah.
I'm going to put him in never going to make it. He's kind of there with the Burr for me.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough to get him. No.
Yeah. I agree. I agree.
Make it. Moving on. Orelvis Martinez. We've been waiting for this name right here. Where are we putting this is going to be all over the place. I think everybody's going to be all over the place.
I don't know, man. I genuinely don't. Okay, so let's go through this right now. Orelvis Martinez, first things first. Does he do anything but, like,
DH? Third, he plays second. That was his primary.
He also plays second.
Yeah,
okay, so actually they have him as a primary right now. So he's primarily second base. He does have third a little bit, but they probably wouldn't do that with him.
That's the thing. And here's my position. Like, who plays second? It's Jimenez. You're not going to get starts at second base. Okay, who plays third? Ernie Clement. Are you gonna sacrifice the great defense of Ernie Clement for him?
Also, too, okay, I think that, like, at that point, you might even, like, they probably have Guerrero over him on the third base depth chart at this point.
So where does he play? He plays DH. How many DH reps are you gonna get with Anthony Santander, with George Springer, and then maybe the fourth outfielder, whoever the hell makes it? How many reps are you gonna get a week? Or how many starts are you gonna get? Like, I don't know if it's that much, and I'm wondering. That's where I'm kind of leaning. I don't know. It's 50-50 or unlikely for me, because it's like they probably want to start him out in AAA, get reps because he's young, and then bring him up if there's a spot opening. I'm
kind of in 50-50, I think, because, like, I agree with you.
Yeah.
I think that, also, too, I do think that the allure of him being
also there's
the
Will
guy.
Wagner. There's also Will Wagner.
There is Will Wagner in all of this as well. Oh, it's tough, man. I'm kind of at... Where are you guys at with Orelvis Martinez? I'm thinking 50-50, maybe slightly leaning unlikely, but I still think 50-50.
People in the chat are leaning 50-50, so we'll go 50-50, but at the lower end, I think there's just a little bit too many people, and I don't get me wrong, I want him up on the team to see what he can do, but there's just too many guys right now. Tommy Nance! Is he going to make
elite curveball, everybody?
Elite curveball.
He's got the best curveball there is, folks.
He was on the, if he's not still there, he was on the Fangraphs depth chart for a long time, but I wonder if they removed him. No, he's still there, everybody, but I personally think, and we'll get to this guy, Yarbrough has a way better chance, or another lefty to take over that spot. But you never know, there could be an injury. He's kind of the next guy up, I would say, in that depth chart, just burning him and getting him out of here. But I think it's still kind of unlikely at this point.
Okay, yeah. So looking at that, like, Fangraph, can you go back to the Fangraphs depth chart right there? I'm just trying to think, would there be anyone that they would cut before Tommy Nance? They
traded for him.
That's the thing. The only other guy I think would be Nick Sandlin.
But they're not going to do that.
Yeah, it's like, it's the who between Nick Sandlin or Tommy Nance. You got to think that Yarbrough is gonna come on this team because he's a lefty.
You need
right.
Yarbrough,
it's like you have to. So,
I'm going unlikely.
I think unlikely for Nance, but I could see reality.
Just because it's like, one person gets hurt. Okay, Nance, you're up. We're gonna burn you. You know what I mean? That's it. Then you got Zach Pop. He's kind of the next tier down for me. I don't think he's making it.
I think that the acquisition of Yarbrough was like, you are done.
Yeah, like we saw enough of Zach Pop.
You're like 2 or 3 injuries away.
Yeah, exactly.
From coming up.
Exactly. That's an easy one. Davis Schneider. A lot of talk about him. He had a homer actually yesterday. But Davis Schneider. Now I'll throw out what I think it was Joe Siddle said this. He thinks Davis Schneider is going to make the team because they need a right-handed bat option off the bench, and they don't have that right now. And they need a guy who can play infield and outfield as a utility spot, and they've kind of already, burned him enough, and he's used to being that bench guy, and he knows the team. They might take him out of camp. We got 50-50 and good chance.
So what would his role would kind of be? The utility guy then?
Utility guy off the bench, a right-handed pop kind of bat.
Right.
I'm leaning either 50-50 or good chance. People are, and that's where the chat is right now, 50-50 or good chance. Where are you kind of at?
Yeah, I'm trying to decide myself. I guess, like, I'm thinking 50. I'm trying to work it out in my head. It's like, okay, well, if David Schneider did make the roster, and so he makes the roster, and then let's just say that Miles Straw is the 4th outfielder. David Schneider's like the utility guy now.
Then you got Heineman as well.
And
then you have a spot for like one
more.
And
then it's like everybody else. I'm trying to work it out in my brain. Like, who does that mean is not going to make it, right? That probably means Orelvis isn't making it. Probably mean, well, I guess he could still make it.
Yeah, but then that's the thing, and then that's the 26-man spot where it's like you're getting buried down there.
Yeah,
where you might burn like a Nathan Lucas or something. Like, you'd rather burn him or some shit. So for me, I think honestly he's got a good chance. He's still got to prove, and he's having an okay spring right now. I'm thinking he's got a good chance just because
with Will Wagner too.
Well, right now he's slotted in at the DH spot. He's kind of in the lineup. So actually, we can see right here who they have. I mean, they have a different opinion, but they've got Heineman, Wagner. Who's in their DH spot? Varsho. Okay, they got Varsho in the lineup. They have Joey Loperfido starting. That's what it is.
Okay.
So you can just interchange those guys. Schneider, Malstra, Heineman. Okay. I would put good chance for him.
Yeah, maybe
lower
good
end,
chance.
but all right. Then we got Malstra, who we've been talking about.
Yep.
If Loperfido's in the 50-50, I think the other side of the 50 involves Malstra. You know what I'm saying? Like, if he doesn't make it, it's because of Malstra.
Like, I think that Malstra has a better chance right now than Loperfido.
I would say so.
You know? I don't know if
they're
it's
gonna burn
a
him.
Good chance, but I think it's better.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's I feel good that he's gonna make the team. I'd still think there's a reality where he doesn't, but it's right. It's between.
Like, they love, and again, like, his defense is really good.
Yeah.
You know, like we're talking, I mean, like, that could be the Kevin Kiermaier right there.
Right.
It's like, that's literally, like, he's the new Kevin Kiermaier, and you know that they loved that.
Yeah.
So
I would say, like, even though it's 50-50 here, I would say it's, somewhere between. It's not guaranteed, but I could see it happening.
I'd say a relatively good chance.
Yeah.
Relatively good chance.
It's a coin flip.
A
little bit more than a coin flip.
More
a weighted coin. A weighted coin.
Yeah. All right. Who do we got next?
We got Will Wagner. I think he's a lock at this. He might be our first lock for me. Like this. Yeah. They saw enough last year. He's in every projected lineup. He's a lock for me.
Yeah, there's really nobody that's saying he's not going to make it.
Right.
So, of course, right? I mean, I know it was 80 at-bats, but it would just be weird. It's like, hey, this guy was great for you.
Yeah.
Our offense was terrible. Why is he not on the team?
And everybody's agreeing here. He is an absolute lock.
Yeah, he's got to be there, guys. Ryan Yarbrough.
I'm putting him at good chance right now because of the lefty need. And you saw what he did last year in the 2 months, and he was pretty good. Like, he was reliable down the stretch. So I think if he's ready,
he's a lock, dude.
You think he's a lock?
We got one fucking lefty on the team.
I know.
How do you not? Like, how do you not?
I know.
And we've seen them bring up lefties in the past who are not good, but are up because they're a lefty.
I think the only reason, a lot of people are saying lock or good chance, I think the only reason is, like, he came into camp late. Maybe they, go burn some other lefty options, then bring him up. Maybe they don't want to ride with 2 long relievers. I don't know. Like, there's, like, other kind of factors, but you're right. Like, I personally would lock him in, if he's ready to go. So
I'm confident he's a lock.
All right, let's throw him in there.
I'm confident he's a lock. I'd be actually disappointed in them. I'd be like, why?
Right. No, I know. I hear you. All right, now we got Leo Jimenez, last 3. Interesting. You kind of forgot about Leo Jimenez, from all the he played a lot last year, but he filled in for Bichette.
So here's the thing: if Will Wagner is the DH, and go back to the tier list for a second. If Will Wagner is the DH, and then we're saying that Davis Schneider and Tyler Heineman are going to be on the bench, so we got 2 more bench spots to fill. We think that Miles Straw or Loperfido will be one of them.
So
we have 1 more spot to fill. And now it's effectively, is it Jimenez or Elvis Martinez or Addison Barger?
Here's where I would see him making the team. He would be if something's wrong with Davis or for whatever reason they want him to go work on some shit, which I don't see happening. They would bring him up and he could play that, like, kind of middle infield job. But there really isn't. Here's the thing: there isn't really a job for him. Like, you have Bo and you have Jimenez, and if Bo takes a day off, it'll be Jimenez. But if Jimenez takes a day off, it'll be Schneider.
Did he ever do any third base at all?
I don't remember.
I don't remember either. I'm just wondering. It's like, well, like, is there would ever there be a time where No, he never did.
I'm gonna say either unlikely or never gonna happen.
Where's the chat at right now?
We got unlikely.
50-50 or unlikely.
I'll go unlikely.
Okay.
Like, maybe they're like,
who would be instead of him?
Probably Davis Schneider, because I was just thinking, like, okay, well, if Bo takes a day off from shortstop, it'll be Jimenez playing shortstop. But if Jimenez takes a day off from second, it'll be Davis Schneider. And it's like, okay, but if it's not David Schneider, then it might be Jimenez.
So what we're saying right now is Heineman, Schneider, and then one of Loperfido or Straw are on the. So we're still missing one spot.
Yeah. Which could be a combination. Could be a combination of like these dudes here, you know, like these dudes. We'll see. Well, we got it right here. Heineman, Wagner, Miles Straw, Schneider. It could be all those guys. It could be all those guys. Okay, let's move on. We got 2 more. Nathan Lucas. That's another name thrown out there. He had, he's old. He's got like 1 shot. Maybe there's another shot later on. But he's got to make the team one day or another. Is it going to be this time right now? He's got 1 more option remaining, so you don't have to bring him up right now. And he is 30 years old. Where are we thinking, chat? Unlikely? Yeah, because I mean, like he would kind of be in that mix of the Straw, the low Perfidos, maybe that additional spot.
That's the problem for me, right? It's like if we're saying that, like that is the big issue for me. It's just like you got to pick one of those guys, and it feels like they're gonna prioritize those 2 guys ahead of him.
Yeah, he'll come up. He's still got an option, so he'll come up at some point if they get injured, and like, maybe Orelvis isn't ready.
Yeah, and then
Rodin.
I mean, also too, we haven't even got to Alan Rodin yet, right?
Yeah.
It's like, but that's there too. So I think it's unlikely for Nathan Lucas at this point.
People are saying 50-50, but I think there just might be too much competition right now, honestly. So I'll say I'll put him on the upper, put him with Addison Barger, honestly, in that kind of tier. Maybe.
Could happen, yeah.
It could happen.
Possible.
Now, finally, the man of the hour, the talk of the town, Alan Rodin. Chat, let's be modest here too. We gotta consider this. What is the likelihood of him making the Blue Jays out of camp? Where are we putting him? I think his chances increase every single day.
I think it's like, I think it's 50-50.
I could also go 50-50.
I think it's 50.
I wouldn't say good chance because, again, like, look at all that competition he's got. And you might want to start him. And is he guaranteed playing time? That's the thing. Miles Straw and Loperfido are not guaranteed playing time, and he's fighting for one of those spots, right? So you have to find a way, let the season play out for him to get playing time, or they might just say, F it, and here's your starting role, kid. Here you go. Yeah.
Oh, and also, too, I think that, let's say that he comes in, and then I know that we're kind of like Will Wagner's the DH a lot of time. Well, maybe not, right? Maybe they want to put like Springer at the DH for sometimes, and then it's like, now we got Rodin in there,
mix him in there.
So it's like I don't know if he's gonna get everyday stuff, but if we play like six games in a week, half of the games,
3 or 4,
like 3 to 4 games. Like I could see them kind of manipulating it,
and I could see Wagner too, kind of getting rotated between like second, first, because he's been playing a little bit of first is spring training, and then DH. Maybe like there's a little bit of rotation that way, a little bit of Venn diagram action kind of going on.
I think it's 50-50 on. I think it effectively is. It comes down to the fact of how much have they been impressed by what they've seen this spring? That's what it is. How much are they impressed by what they've seen this spring? If they're erring on the side of, holy shit, this guy can bang, then he's going to make it. Or if they're erring on the side of, you know what, let's go the safe route with Miles Straw.
Right, exactly.
That's kind of, do we want the risky, exciting option, or do we want the, like, safe, boring one?
Where you're okay with like not having this guy playing every single day. Whereas like Rodin, you can't have that happen because
you want to get him in like as much as possible. You want to get him in 3 to 4 times a week, and that'll be that.
Because you know what happens when you don't get regular playing time? You end up like Miles Straw. And your batting average sucks, and you never develop into a great hitter, and here you are.
It's tough to build confidence. Like, and again, like I can imagine too, it's got to be really tough to build anything. Like let's say you go 0 in a series, and then you got to sit for a whole series. And it's like, oh, geez, now I got to think about going 0 for 12. Like,
exactly.
Yeah, it's not great. So, anyways, that is our tier list right now for the bench spots. You guys let us know in the comments down below, where did we go right, where did we go wrong, who do you see making it, not making it, all of that stuff. Is there anybody that we just completely forgot about at this point? Like we're gonna see Arjun Namala make his big time debut after that tank of a home run.
Yeah, right.
Probably not gonna happen, guys. Let's give a quick shout out to the third sponsor of Blue Jays today, folks, before we move on. Whoa, time for a quick shout out to the sponsor of this video. video. Hit your picks and knock it out of the park with Betway. Scan the QR code down below to join the action. Only available in Ontario. Must be 19 years of older to participate. Please play responsibly. Now, everyone, back to the content. Shout out to Betway, everybody, for being absolutely phenomenal. Blue Jays Today boys made it to the big time, folks.
Yeah.
3 sponsors on the show.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Let's go.
Odds right now to make the playoffs for the Toronto Blue Jays, 3.35 times your money. Now, I looked it up. The implied odds, so what that's saying is effectively, and the implied odds, a bunch of math and all this other mumbo jumbo. The implied odds with this is saying that they think we make the playoffs 30% of the time. That's what this is saying right now. So if you believe that the Toronto Blue Jays make the playoffs this year more than 30% of the time, 35% of the time, 40% of the time, whatever you have them at, then you hit that button, you smash the over, or you smash the yes button right there.
Scan the QR code, download the app.
It should be profitable money for you if you simulated it 1,000 times.
Now, do you think it's over 30%? That's the question.
Oh.
I actually think that's a good line. Like, I think that, honestly, I think 30% is kind of optimistic. A little bit. I would hit it.
It's tough. It's tough.
Yeah. It is tough. I don't feel good in saying no for 128.
That's the
that
thing,
feels
right?
like
that's like
weird.
I don't know if I like that.
Yeah, I don't.
Anyways, that's the line, guys. You guys maybe know better than we do. Go hop on to Betway and let us know if you do. Let us know what you're riding with. Before we hop off in this one, we got a couple questions to answer from you guys. If you haven't already submitted your questions, then please do so in the mailbag. Great thing too about coming to the March 27th event at Amsterdam Brew House, you can ask us questions in real life.
Hell yeah.
I can't even dodge you. I can't even pretend like I didn't see your question. I have to fucking answer it because I'm standing right there. So that is why you gotta hop on and join us at that event. First question coming from Focal. Kind of already answered this one. Does Roden or Elvis make the opening day roster?
Yeah, well, if I'm going to pick anybody, it's going to be Alan Roden. I know we had them kind of in the same tier, but I did throw them a little bit higher. If anybody's making it, it's Roden. More likely than not, I think both of them don't make it. I know they're 50-50, but I do tend to lean in the idea. I've seen this Blue Jays front office. This is a new year for them, so maybe they act differently, where they play it safe out of the gate. They hold on to him. They get a little bit more service time, and then they bring him up. So for me, it's like, I would say more likely than not, no. But if anyone's going to make it, it'd be Roden.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm coming to terms with that as well. I think that that's probably accurate. But again, I would love to see Elvis come up because I think Elvis has got a lot. He's got a lot to prove this year. With everything that we saw that happened last year and all of that. Yeah, there's a lot to prove for Elvis Martinez. So I guess Roden, but. You could see her Elvis as well. We got another question in here coming in from Blue Jays lineup 2025. They say, what if we hit on opening day? And this is the lineup that he's got right now. So I assume that this is his projected lineup. Yeah. Vladdy 1.
Wow.
Santander 2. Kirk 3.
Jesus.
Bo 4. Varsho 5. Wagner 6. Springer 7. Jimenez 8. Clement 9. Dude, if they came out with this, I mean,
Now, I'll give them a lot of credit because they did actually go on and explain. I didn't copy paste because there's not enough room, but they actually go on and explain a whole bunch of reasoning, saying like Vladdy's our best hitter, do the Otani thing, blah blah blah. Yeah. But
Vladdy's a lot different than Otani.
He doesn't steal 50 bags, and he's not fast. He's okay. He's an average runner, really, maybe a little bit below average, but he's not Otani. So it's a very interesting lot. Even like Bo batting 4, like why is Bo all the way down there? You know what I mean? Like driving in Kirk's slow. He'll clog up the bases in front of him. You know what I mean? And then you got Varsho, Wagner, Springer, Jimenez. Like, first of all, Varsho over Wagner.
Honestly, that's the big thing for me is Kirk 3 is because he's slow.
Clogging everybody up right
Bo
now.
And Varsho are pretty quick. They're not going anywhere. We're actually clogged. It's just not gonna work.
And honestly, in the lineup that they have projected for the Blue Jays on the Fangraphs page, they have, and honestly, a lot of the lineups have been rolling out is they have actually Kirk behind Jimenez, Springer, and maybe Varsho as well. So like he doesn't clog the bases, right? So yeah, no, it's an interesting thought experiment. I can say this for sure. I have never seen a lineup like that. So it's unique.
Yeah,
I'll give
you know
that.
what? Maybe if Vladdy like hit tanks like Kyle Schwarber, it would be different. But that's the thing. He doesn't
Gets
even,
on base
he
for
doesn't even
400.
really do that. You know, like he's complete in everything, but not
right.
I don't know, man. It's just weird. Just weird. I don't think we're ever gonna see Vladdy bat leadoff.
Never.
Unless he like dramatically changes his game and conditioning.
Granted, I did say that about Jose Bautista when he was like struggling. I was like, we're never gonna see this guy bat leadoff. You guys remember Jose Bautista bat leadoff for a while? And it was like, huh? What's going on? But no, I don't think that's gonna happen this year. I think I got better options.
That's true. That'd be a wild one right there. We got one more question from one of you right now, from Steve. Thank you very much for everybody for submitting these questions, by the way. Guys. We really do appreciate it. I think it's just a great way to like connect with the community and everything like that. And if you guys enjoy it, like we said, you can submit your questions. Really, really easy to do so. Also, haven't asked any of you guys to hit that like or smash the subscribe button yet. But if you have made it to this point of the live stream of the video and you're enjoying the content and the discussion and you're not already subscribed, it's really easy to do. We put so much work into building all this stuff out and just, you know, just everything in general, and we would really appreciate it. Steve says, noticed you mentioned the catching problem. Any chance we see Dalton Varsho behind the plate backing up and clearing up some room for a few games for Nathan Lucas or Alan Roden? That, dude, I forgot that he did that.
And I'll say this, and people mentioned this before when we were going to have a catching problem about like, well, Dalton can catch. Dalton's too good of a center fielder to go catch games. Like you just, that's his value, and you're not gonna move him and be a backup catcher, right? Like I don't see a reality where they're like, hey, after 3 years you're catching again. Get a whole rapport with these guys and get a whole new element in your game. That's too much to throw on a guy when like he's playing already like platinum glove defense, and I just want him to focus on his bat.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Too much.
Yeah, no, I think that, honestly, I think that Dalton Varsho's days of being a catcher are behind him. I don't think that unless his legs, like, completely leave him, but even that, no, he's never going to be a catcher. No. He's not a catcher anymore.
And I get what you're saying, like, you have upside. I don't know why you put Nathan Lucas in your Steve, but I guess you like him, but of upside of getting Alan Roden in the lineup, like we just discussed, there's other ways of getting Alan Roden in the lineup that doesn't involve Varsho completely throwing his game out the window.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no, I think honestly, like, if they were ever going to do that, we would have heard about it already, because this would have been the off season to be like, oh, okay, like, you know, we might need to have this, and we haven't heard anything. So he's an outfielder. Catch him in center field, everybody, flying around, you know, making plays left, right, and center. You're probably going to see him pop up on Sportsnet's top 100 plays like a handful of times.
I already saw him a bunch.
It always is the case. So.
And also, no disrespect to Sportsnet, but like I always notice they always lean towards the bias towards the Blue Jays, and it's like it's always a Blue Jay play that's like over like an incredible other play. I'm like, that play would look routine, and it's like.
But when Dalton Varsho's up there, usually they are
phenomenal.
elite regardless. Folks, thank you so much for tuning in to today's Blue Jays Today show. I did see your question, Daniela. Yes, we will be live for tonight's game at 6:30. We're going to be sipping on some Amsterdam brews, everybody. A little prelude to our big-time event happening on March 27th. We're going to have a form for that soon, by the way, everybody, that you can fill out. Let us know that you're coming. It's very, very important that you do so if you are coming, to reserve your seat and to potentially be involved in some maybe giveaway.
And already pre-reserve your seat by booking off work, everybody. Just take this as an opportunity. Drinking some beers on a Thursday downtown Toronto. Hopefully the weather's nice. Play some games with the boys and meet the community and watch a live play-by-play. Nothing gets better than that. I can't wait to see all of y'all later.
That's right, man. This is a fuck it moment, and you know what? The world is calling, everybody, so it's time for you guys to answer. Thanks so much for watching, and as always,
go Jays, go!